Hello and welcome to another episode of Northside NOW. This is the podcast where we take you on a tour through all of the ministries and the latest happenings around Northside Church to keep you better connected with your church family. My name is Patrick, and with me as always is my wonderful co-host, Glenn Miller.
Hello.
What's up? Kevin's gone again today.
He's gone. He's had to go do something.
He's got better things to do, I guess.
Yeah. After our last podcast, maybe he's checking out how to get himself artificially intelligent.
Yeah, if he doesn't get back by next week, we're just going to replace him with an AI version of himself.
There's going to be a robot Kevin. I was watching the other day after our podcast came out, and they have a super soldier robot now.
Oh, really?
And it shows these guys, it's like RoboCop, and it shows them like hitting this thing with like 2x4s, pushing it over or trying to push it over, hitting it with all these different things. And these guys are crazy. If you find this video, because they have this thing, it's shooting a gun, like a handgun, bang, 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 and they'll step in front of it and it stops.
I think I know which video you're talking about.
Yeah, and they do all this crazy stuff to it.
I hate to burst your bubble, but it's not a real video.
It's not real?
Yeah.
Is it all right? Yeah, because I was like, this is too crazy for me.
It was actually made by, I don't know if I've mentioned them on the podcast before, but there's a YouTube channel that I follow called Corridor Crew, or Corridor Digital. They're a visual effects company. They actually made that video. Because
it's pretty wild looking.
They talked about it, because after they made it, Joe Rogan saw it,
yeah.
and Joe Rogan talked about it on his podcast, talking about how it was crazy. But, I mean, while that particular video is fake, some of the stuff they're doing with the robots is a little crazy, a little scary.
Yeah, I was listening to another podcast the other day that was talking about that. And it's funny because we were talking a little bit a while ago. I think we hit a nerve and didn't even realize what we were doing.
Yeah.
But we were just talking because of just future. We've done that some, but with Brendan here, we were interested in what they were teaching at the university level about some of the stuff growing. And so I was listening to another podcast, and they happened to be talking about this as well. And it was one of the Carrie Niehoff podcasts. And they were talking about how the artificial intelligence and stuff, we were talking a little bit about how it doesn't create. Oh, yes, it does. In fact, they're doing children's books now that are AI's doing the complete book, the story and the graphics. And there's music that they're doing. They're writing songs. And one of the things about the church they were talking about is we'll get into a day where AI is writing your worship music. And do people care that are sitting in the pew singing a song as long as it's a good song and it makes you feel a certain way and it feels like it's lifted you? Do you care if a human created it or not? And I went,
I care.
That's the thing of, but I guess we are probably on that old, but things change so quickly.
Yeah.
So you're thinking about, all right, let's think about Clay and Autumn. Will they be listening to music that is made in worship service, not on radio? I'm sure they can do that.
I was fixing to say, I'm pretty sure most of us have already heard music that was composed by, artificial
because I've heard some of these people try to sing away from a microphone, and it's like, whoa, whoa, you are auto-tuned like there ain't no tomorrow. But will they sit in a service if they go to church like that, and it be? Well, I think you'll have human performers, but will the song
have been written
by a GPT type thing?
The thing that bothers me with all of this is that the AI, we should be making the AI do our work so that the humans have more time to create art, artistic endeavors, whether that's writing or, music or whatever, painting, drawing.
Yeah. And the podcast talks a little bit about that too, because, they were thinking the next great rift in people will be, in the job market world anyways, will be the replacement, which has already happened for a good while, but a true, honest replacement of the worker. There just will not be any human jobs or very few human jobs. How will that be? And I think that will be the next super huge rift where you kind of have humans going against humans because of people wanting to push that way or this way, And I guess when was that the Industrial Revolution? There was a lot of that kind of stuff of workers' rights and stuff. And will there be a workers' rights? Will we have a Labor Day against the AI? At some point,
possibly,
where people are celebrating the day the AI.
I've seen Terminator
got shut down. Yeah, exactly. And again, I go back to my original thing when we even mentioned this, just as joking, you and I several years ago or whatever, is like, we've made movies about that. Are we not paying attention to our own movies?
And see, when humans create art, a lot of time there is social commentary like that. And especially when it's like science fiction stuff, it's usually future speculation, or future extrapolation kind of stuff. Yeah,
because growing up, I was a little bit above, but I did end up catching it as a kid, the Buck Rogers in the 21st century and the Jetsons were not there. Back to the Future.
Yeah.
But it went back to 2022 or something, didn't it?
It was 2015.
2015, yeah. And it was like, what?
Yeah.
We're not using flying cars and trash.
Not yet. But there have been some things like, way back, early example, Jules Verne in his novel, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah.
Submarines did not exist.
Yeah.
Scuba gear did not exist when he wrote that book.
Oh, exactly.
That was total science fiction.
Yeah.
And then people saw that and were like, hey, we could do that.
Oh, hey, just in my own life, and I'm talking in my own life, teenager to now, the cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
Even young adult, I didn't have a
This
cell phone
is science
like
fiction.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember when I was a kid watching Toy Story, and Buzz Lightyear has the little wrist thing that would pop up and this communicator, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool if you could just do that?
Yeah.
And
for
now
me, it
this
was
is
Star Trek.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Yeah,
same thing. So it's an interesting conversation. I think the church needs to continue, and that's what the podcast I was listening to was, how does this affect the church in the future? And I think the church does need to look at that and respond. And one of the things they were saying was like churches for youth ministry or any kind of ministry, and you're thinking about trying to entertain or outperform the AI, you just need to hang it up now. There is no way you will be able to put a product out there because of the way they listen to us and they, the way we're captured, through social media and through all the different, our phones and all those things, they capture all this data about us that it just makes AI that much more. And so what's the church do in a world like this? And I think that's a great question. And I think it's a great exploration. I don't think
anybody knows the answer.
You don't. But I think you need to have podcasts for like Northside Now, that do make you begin to think about that.
Well, yeah, I think we definitely need to be aware of it.
I don't know what you do. I don't know an answer, but
I feel like our world, most of the institutions and everything as we know them now will change within the next 5 to 10 years.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like even with the job market and the AI stuff, I think our education system is already seeing some issues because in a lot of ways it was set up to sort of help educate people to go work in factories and sort of preparing people for that model of work.
Yep.
And if AI is taking over all that kind of work, the education system is not preparing people. And I think we're already seeing some turmoil there as our education system is going to get revamped somehow. There's just a lot of things across the board that I think will look very different in the next 10 years. And I think as the church, we need to be aware of that and continue to have conversation and find ways to adapt and fill in how we can.
I remember growing up as a kid, you'd be in history class and all that, and you're like looking back at history, like, oh man, those people. I mean, then you maybe have the thought of sometime, am I living during something historic? I remember for me, it was like Reagan got shot. We were in school that day. One of the space shuttles blew up when we were in school that day. Maybe the Challenger.
The Challenger, yeah.
And, so
for me, it was like 9/11.
9/11, you're in school that day. I'm sure there was people doing Pearl Harbor, but you look back at JFK, you look at all those things in history-making deals. Well, I just think we're in these period-changing time, and I've heard several people, podcasts and different writings and stuff, that are legitimate, true thinkers and true scholars and stuff, not just people talking like we are. But
what are you talking about?
We are experts, but don't ask us in what, because we'll tell you. But the thing is, I think we're in that period shift and change. And so, yes, with the little girl, yes, so-and-so, there is a Santa Claus, but yes, so-and-so, we are living in history-making times.
Yeah.
Is not marked necessarily by war or depression, or I think all those things happen differently now than what they did back in the day. But we are in a history-changing moment. We will be that group that somebody looks back and goes, that was that group of people that were alive back then.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know what we do with that, but anytime y'all want to talk about it, let us know. I think we have kind of hit a nerve about that. We didn't even know we were doing it, and it's popped up a few extra podcasts of people I listen to, fairly normal, and they're talking about the same stuff. It's like, how did we beat them to this?
We're just on the cutting edge.
We are the cutting edge.
We are the cutting edge.
This is the scissors of church.
Well, we do need to remember that even though the world changes and stuff, God stays the same. He was the same yesterday. He's the same today. He'll be the same tomorrow. And we can always put our trust in him, not in institutions of this world.
And that's huge. And I think we need to remember that. God doesn't ghost us.
Yeah.
You'll hear that again. I dropped an Easter egg for you folks just right then. I don't know if you know that. But yeah, God doesn't ghost us. And that's important for us to remember. And you're exactly right. And in fact, because that is true and correct, we're going to have a guest here in just a moment that's going to come in the podcast room who works for Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And he also is one of our small group leaders here on Wednesday nights, is Travis Morton. I call him Coach Travis because he's also a coach, or has been a coach. And now he works for FCA. And Barry Cox is supposed to be coming with him. I don't know if we can get Barry online with him or not, but that would be fun if we could. But, he's just talking about Fellowship of Christian Athletes and just making contacts and connection on these teams with students and the coaches and their families. And even, I wonder what they do for referees. Hopefully they, I'm on the board
refs
for
get
FCA.
the short end of the stick a lot of
bless them. So he's going to be here, and we're going to talk about that because it's the human connection. And I think it's fun to talk about that other stuff as a church, and we do need to kind of have what do we do if, or what our thoughts are. It's just so it doesn't catch us off guard. But again, God's in control of that, and we need to remember that it's important about the people.
Yeah.
That's, I don't think we'll be evangelizing robots or computers or anything like that. They may be tools, but I don't think we'll be trying to save them to get to heaven. That's made for people, not stuff.
I don't know. Maybe one day. Maybe artificial intelligence is going to get so advanced.
Could you imagine you open your door one day and it's not the little Jehovah's Witness people, or
it's a couple of robots with some ties on bicycles?
The Mormon kids, that are there. It's just a couple of robots. Hey, do you go to church? If I got something I need you to read, can I come in your house? I used to make those people so mad. I wouldn't let them in my house. You got two young males.
Yeah.
They're nicely dressed.
They're not coming to my house.
They're not coming to my house, dude. I have daughters.
Yeah.
I have 2 teenage daughters at the time. You're not coming here. They get so mad.
Yeah.
Then they really got mad because then 2 Mormon girls came by and was like, hey, one of them was like, I really got to go to the bathroom. Is there any way I can? I said, sure, come on in. And then I said, now go back and tell the Mormon guys that y'all got to come in. And I said, y'all are welcome here anytime. Y'all can park our car here. And if anybody in this neighborhood's mean to you, you let me know and I will go talk to them. So total dad mode.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
But it made the Mormon boys mad.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mormon boys. You're not going in my house with my daughters. It wasn't happening. So, very funny. Well, I think Coach is going to tell us a couple of funny jokes. There's always some good stories. So,
yeah.
He's a good guy. And Coach Travis Morton from Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Let's let him on in. We're here today with, I call him Coach Travis, but his name is Travis Morton. I don't know why I don't call you Coach Morton, but Travis is he's part of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes staff here in Jackson and all of West Tennessee. And he also comes up on Wednesday nights. He's one of our small group leaders.
Yeah.
And so we're glad to have him be a part of our team, and I'm a part of their team, so I'm glad to be on your team as well. So, Travis, how did you get involved with Fellowship of Christian Athletes? Did you do that as something as a kid, or how did you get involved with FCA?
Okay, it all started, go back to high school. Mr. Nick Corn played on the football team, Haywood County Tomcat, former Tomcat.
Haywood?
Oh, yeah, Haywood Tomcat. Yeah, purple and white. It all started throughout high school. Few guys on the team used to talk about Mr. Nick Corn coming to the school and talking about the word and things like that, and also guys going to his house. So I was like, that's interesting. One of the things that grabbed our attention was that he was having food. So, of course, food going to grab football players' attention. So went out one day, and he started talking about this thing about Fellowship of Christian Athletes and different things like that, and started going to his house. So it started with that as a freshman in high school, doing the weeks and whatnot, going over his house, him coming to the school, talking to us about the word and things like that. And also, never forget, my junior year in high school, we were meeting one time, and this particular time, Coach Phil Massey was the coach at that time. And he said, guys, this week, you don't need to eat no pizza. We had a big game coming up. So we're like, you know what, no problem, Coach. So when Mr. Nick came during our lunchtime, on our lunch shift, we go over to the field house and meet. He had pizza.
Oh, wow.
So like, man, we got to eat something today. I tell you what, guys said, let's eat a couple of slices.
Yeah.
So as we were eating, one of the guys saw it through the window, said, man, Coach Massey, he's on the way over. He's coming over here. So guys putting away pizza and the whole nine. So when the door opened, is Michael Sparks.
But
from a distance, he looked like Coach Massey. That was a little running thing we used to have. I mean, they looked just alike. So that's how we ended up meeting Michael Sparks coming over to do some of our chapels and whatnot with the team.
Yeah.
So that kind of started the journey with the FCA. So just going along in life, just doing me, as we say.
Yeah.
Going away from God instead of going to God, just kind of get off track and whatnot. But so a lot of those things that were said with FCA, about integrity, because we play under the one way to play.
Yeah.
Drug free. That's when we got that in 99. So I graduated high school in 2000. So just straying away, doing a lot of stuff opposite of that, just being reminded of that. And just fast forward, coming into coaching and teaching in 2009, never wanted to have anything to do with coaching and teaching, especially kids at school.
Yeah.
So during that time under Coach Seymour, and remember Barry Cox coming to do some of our chapels, and also this thing that happened at the Backyard Barbecue where we had one of our events he came and spoke to. So it kind of started putting things back on my mind, but never did I imagine, fast forward years later, December 2021, coming on part-time as an ambassador working with FCA. And then just to make a long story short about being out of the school system in May of last year, for my license set to expire, kind of just a quick testimony of that. License set to expire in August of 2022. I was on the waiver, and some of the things that were going on, I had my master's in teaching, but not my licensure. Yeah. So it was set to expire. And at the end of that school year, I would either have to, go to another school or just find another job. So just sitting, just praying and just asking God, okay, what I need to do in regard to next steps. So I sat down with my director one day, Barry Cox, and I said, you know what? I was just sharing some things with him. He said, Coach, what you want to do next? I said, well, my desire, I want to, come on full-time staff with FCA and whatnot. And I said, I know one of the things about it, when you come on full-time, you got to raise your own support. Yeah. He said, well, that's interesting. We'll just see what God says about it. Just pray about it, and, we'll go from there. So that was in June of 22. So door came open to go to boot camp. So we ended up going to boot camp in Kansas City, FCA headquarters. And long story short, here we are now, full-time staff with FCA as area representative.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you coached in Milan?
My journey started in Haywood in 2009 to 13.
So you have a thing for purple teams.
I do. That's what they say, yeah.
That's the reason he's here at Northside, because he's heard about the purple penguins. He knows about the purple penguins. He likes purple. Yeah. So.
And just a little side joke, when we was at the TCA game doing an event.
Yeah.
And I mentioned about liking purple. And my director told me, he said, really? You like purple? So yeah.
Were you a Prince fan growing up or anything?
I wasn't, just like purple and white, yeah.
Well, the first school I went to was Farmersville, Texas. Well, as a kid, and they were purple and gold. Oh, and wow. I remember wanting to wear that purple and gold one day and ended up moving, never did. I ended up playing against them, but I never did play for them. Wow. So that'd have been fun to do in high school. But, when you're a kid, you look up to those high school players like, man, that's like Dak Prescott out there, Right. It's just like Bobby.
Exactly.
Joe, that's who it is. It's Glenn, it's Travis, it's just who's out there. But you think they're the greatest thing in the world. Right. And you're like, look at me, I'm like my high school football player, Right. So now you've been a coach. So as a coach, when someone comes in, like I do chapels with y'all and stuff, when someone comes in as a coach and helps walk along with y'all during that process through FCA, and they're bringing, we call them character clinics now. Some schools don't like it when you call it a chapel, but most of them around here are okay with that, really. What benefit does it do as a coach to have this other person come along and put these seeds of integrity and honor and courage and teamwork alongside of what you're already trying to do into the team? How does it help you as a coach to have a huddle leader or a character coach come in and work with a team like that?
Okay, when I just think back to my journey when I was a coach and experiencing that, FCA guys coming in and helping out, walk with the team and whatnot, one thing it really did is strengthen us. Is let us know that somebody do care. And that you do have somebody to talk to about what's going on. Because in the coaching world, you get so caught up into winning and things now. Yeah. To where a lot of that stuff, get caught, within the shuffle. And I just think back just my own life. Before I came on staff with FCA, just going through some stuff in my marriage, and Barry Cox telling me about the coaches retreat, coaches and spouse retreat.
Yeah.
And going to that and just seeing these other coaches and just hearing their stories and be able to share with them sharing with me, and that FCA, they're pouring into us. It just took that to another level. And just share some of what happened to me in 2020 during that COVID season when COVID first hit.
Yeah.
Just being able to sit down with my kids, especially my son, sitting down with them. And I said, you know, what's something you guys want more from Dad? And they said, time.
Yeah.
So I had a choice to make. I ended up getting out of coaching at that time and just really just investing in them, just really seeing, you know, that time you miss. Of course, you can coach and still spend time, but it's not the same. But when them coming along, walking with a team, it just builds you up.
Yeah.
Because if you're not built up and got that relationship with God and walking with the Lord, it's hard for you to pour into the kids. You'll be that coach that always demanded, and really not, you know, satisfied yourself.
Yeah.
So it's huge when they come along and walk with the team.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think people realize how many hours a coach puts into the program, their kids. I mean, and when you are in some of these schools, I mean, you're having to help make sure these kids get fed. And, you know, I worked with Northside High School down here for years and years and years before. I work with USJ mostly now, and a few other schools around. But at Northside High School, coaches would call and say, can you help me get some food for this kid? You know, they don't have enough food, you know, and kids are, you know, trying to get jobs and work. And it's tough as a coach, and people don't realize when you're a coach, you're also pretty much a missionary. You have to be called to coaching. You know, I don't think anybody just gets in it and just says, yeah, that's what I want to do because, man, the hours are great. I'm going to get summers off. No, you're not, coach. You'll be mowing the football field. You'll be doing summer camp. You're not getting the summer off, you know. And it does take a lot from families. I always look at coaches' wives and preachers' wives. They're in the same boat. And I don't know, maybe doctors' wives, maybe, but, you know, there may be like factory worker, you know, like a CEO or something. But to me, coaches' wives and preachers' wives or spouses they're in the same boat. Whoever you're married to is giving a lot of time to a lot of other people but you and your family. Right. And that's tough for some people.
It is.
That's tough. Barbie's been good about that for me because I did both youth ministry and coach. And, you know, she got used to being able to handle that. So, what does FCA look like today? What's the role of FCA in the schools? And is that changing? You know, it used to be people like FCA and some of these other church organizations or other had really great access to schools. Do y'all think in West Tennessee, or y'all seeing in Southwest Tennessee that's changing, or do you feel like FCA is still able to get in the schools with no problem through like the One Way to Play program and stuff?
Okay, you can see it changing a little bit, you know, especially with the laws and things going on with people coming into the school, separation of church and state, you know, and all that kind of stuff. We still have access to relationships that we still have with people. Like people before me, Barry Cox, Michael Sparks, just some of the relationships that were established before with some of the coaches. That door's kind of open, but it's hard in some schools. Yeah. So you're having to do, you know, other stuff as far as doing those character clinics and doing stuff outside of the school system. And that's one of the good things with partnering with you guys here at Northside, being able to explore other options and other avenues.
Yeah. Yeah, because we have some fun here with kids that come from the neighborhood. Travis has helped us a ton with them, with our young men. Him and Justin, working with them a lot has really been a massive blessing. I mean, that's when you're like, God is just orchestrating. Because Barry and I had been talking about some things, and God was just orchestrating some things there that we weren't able to see at the time, and you were a big piece of that. And so it's been a blessing to us to have you here and to have you in our community, and you know, and be a piece of that. It really is a big thing. Our guys love y'all. And
I love
you, man. They think you're the greatest thing. And your son's coming and playing basketball with us, comes to youth group, and he's awesome. So that's wonderful. What does Fellowship of Christian Athletes need from churches or from the community? Because, you know, you work with a big volunteer base, and there's always a need. So what are some of the biggest needs y'all have right now in FCA's ministry zone?
Okay, one of the main things is resources to be able just to do ministry. With taking these kids to camps and coaches and their spouses and just doing ministry within the schools and within the community, resources are needed. And the other thing is volunteers, you know, from these churches. A lot of these churches have the kids that are in the schools. So just us pretty much laying aside what we have going on and willing to just come together and really just move everything forward. So just that resources piece, volunteers, to be, because right now it's just myself and Barry Cox, just being able to have this whole entire area. There's a lot of schools within Jackson.
Yeah.
So just those character coaches coming along and those volunteers coming along, helping us, move everything forward.
And being a character coach is not that difficult. It's not it's not the hardest thing on the planet. You don't have to. I spend an hour a week or a little bit more, depending on what season it is. Quite honestly, because baseball season, I tend to carry a couple of teams, but it doesn't take a lot of time. And you don't have to be the greatest speaker or most motivated. You can put other people up there to help you do that. You just need someone to walk alongside these teams and these kids to help them along and to be that extra adult. And I want as many good, healthy adults around my kids as I can get, and that's always really good. What's one of your best stories about being an athlete? Come on, athletes have good stories, and we know. We're waiting.
Yeah, I got a good story, but it's also
you can't tell it online.
Part of my testimony as well. Just thinking back to high school, my senior year of high school, being set up to go and play football somewhere. That was what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I was doing stuff that wasn't in line with the will of God. So getting ready to graduate high school in May of 2020, finding out in February of 2020 that I had a child on the way. It changed a lot of things. Even within that, coming down a couple months later, find out I had another child on the way. So getting that opportunity, I was asked by Coach Massey at the time. Me and another guy was chosen to go play in the Down Under Bowls. They were held in Australia at the time in 2000.
Oh, really?
And man,
did you go to Australia?
I did. Australia and Hawaii.
No way.
So
that's awesome.
We went and played in that, but I didn't know at the time that was needed just to get my mind off of everything to think. And that's how I ended up going to Lane College. I'm not even playing football. Just getting my degree and just walking through that process. But that's one of my, not a funny football story, one of my football stories where football became an avenue to another door that I didn't even know I needed at that time. So, yeah.
Now, Coach Phil Massey was your coach?
He was.
And he coached at Baylor? Is that the same Phil Massey?
He did.
What?
Yeah. And Wade, what's his last name? He played with the Colts. He was coaching in Brownsville.
Okay.
I can't think of his last name.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I mean, you kept saying that. I was like,
and Coach Michael Hold'em, he was our defense coordinator.
Yeah, I know Coach Hold'em.
At the time.
His daughter came here for a while. She was friends with some of the kids in the youth group, and she came here for a youth summit when he was down at Chester County.
Okay.
And nice guy. Coach is awesome. Yeah. But we do have some good coaches around here. And
we do.
I didn't realize that Coach Massey was down at Haywood, though.
Yeah, a long time. He was with that team that went to the state back-to-back.
Yeah.
He was the head coach at that time.
Well, and Haywood did good this year as well.
Oh, yeah, they did.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, we had a coach, he was at Ole Miss. Oh, I just went blank. I know him well. And it was the blindside coach was in there. Coach Freeze. That's it.
Okay.
That's when blank. Thanks, Barry. Barry's in the room too, but he won't talk. He's got like laryngitis today or something. I don't know. But Coach Freeze, yes. I know Coach Freeze well. He was here. He was in talked about it in a movie, and then he went to Ole Miss, and he went over to Liberty, and now he's coming back to the South. And I mean, we've had a lot of big name coaches around here, and West Tennessee has a good football and basketball, baseball. It's a good sports area. And we do have a lot of athletes, and we're growing. I know because the outdoor side of FCA is growing, so there's other things that FCA is doing in other spots, just not in the schools. Right. And so it's a great organization. And I want to encourage anybody who is interested in helping in any ways, financially is a big way that we can help, because y'all have to raise your money like a missionary would, right? And then there are big fundraisers. There's a golf tournament or two every year that FCA puts on, and Spirit Night. I think they're planning on doing a sporting clays thing coming up sometime in the spring or early summer or something like that.
Correct.
Don't know if we have the date for that yet, but that's a big thing.
A
lot of people enjoy doing that. Patrick, are you a shotgunner? Have you ever done sporting clays?
I have not. No, I would like to try it. I'd give it a shot.
I'm going to sign you up.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of people talking about it's the next big thing going on.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Maybe we need a character coach for all the pickleballers out here.
Wow.
Some of them need it.
Barry, can you get us a pickleball coach over here? I have an FCA coach for the pickleballers. That'd be good. Well, Travis, we do appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you so much. You are a blessing to us. And Travis and I worked really hard all last year trying to go fishing. And we could never get our schedules tied up. But Barry, he's going to take off some days this year to go fishing. Just get ready. It's going to happen. Because the spawn's only about 6 weeks away.
Yeah.
It depends on what the groundhog does in a couple of weeks. But,
Looking forward to it.
But spawn's only 6 weeks away, and we're going to go get some big ones. Travis and I are. So get ready for that. Well, we've had Coach Travis Morton with us today from Fellowship of Christian Athletes. He's a good old West Tennessee guy and been around. He's even gone to Australia.
Yeah, and Hawaii, apparently.
And Hawaii. Yeah. Who knew?
First 2 weeks was Australia, and the last week they called it rest and relaxation in Hawaii. So just a funny story about that. I don't know if you guys remember the $1 Million Man.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
He was on one of the little cruise boats when we was on the way. And I don't know if I should tell this story or not, but he had an accident, a major accident. Of course, we was on the boat. Nothing had spilled on him. So, I don't know what scared him or whatnot. We'll never forget that the $1 Million Man.
The $1 Million Man. Scared to death.
Yeah. Read between the lines.
That's awesome. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, you're around athletes. You're going to have good stories and stuff that happen all the time. And let me ask you real quickly, because I don't know. This is funny. I've been a part of Fellowship of Christian Athletes at some point like you. I started as a kid, and I'm a lot older than Barry is. He's a young whippersnapper. But what does Fellowship of Christian Athletes do right now in support of referees? Have they ever done anything in support of referees and stuff? Because I know those guys and gals get beat on all the time, sometimes literally. And it seems like it's been open season on referees in the last few years. Do we reach out to them in any form or fashion?
Actually,
I
we
don't
do.
know the answer to that question.
My director, Barry Cox, he had a vision about, supporting those referees because all they go through, man, just being a coach and being on both sides of that ball field, man, they go through a lot.
Yeah.
So something we got started this year through his vision. When we do FCA night, when we go to the schools and honor both coaches from each team, the girls and the boys, and also we honor the referees.
Man, that's awesome.
And I never forget, the first day that we done it with Madison and Lexington playing here in Jackson, and just honoring those referees. They had no idea that we were going to do it, and they were just blown away by it because they never get honored.
Yeah.
So. Just shedding light on that, and all that they do, remembering 99% of the time they get the calls right.
Yeah, exactly right.
They do a great job.
Yeah.
So we're honoring those guys, and also just something just that we're gonna do as far as having just spend a little time with those guys.
Yeah.
Just let them know, hey, we see you, we care, and what you're doing is greatly appreciated.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. If you've been to a basketball game, one of the high school games, they are out there with the sweat mops. They have the big FCA logo on the sweat mops, and they're giving out some gifts and prayers and support of coaches, players, and referees, and a nod to the fans that are there. So if you see them out on the basketball courts this year at one of the local schools, that's what they're doing. Well, thanks for dropping by, Travis.
Thank you, guys.
It's always great to have you here. And next time we'll get Barry on here as well.
Yeah, very good. Yeah,
we're going to do that. But Fellowship of Christian Athletes, I'm on the board of Fellowship of Christian Athletes. It's one of the best things I do besides being a character coach with them. And it's a great, great organization here, a long-standing organization in Jackson and West Tennessee, especially here around Southwest Tennessee. They do a lot of great work. So Coach Travis, and I'm going to call him Coach Barry Cox. Cox. Barry, do a great job. And if you feel like you want to help out with Fellowship of Christian Athletes, give me a holler, or you can contact them. They have a Facebook page. You can look up Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Southwest Tennessee. There's a web page coming soon, I think. And be looking for some of those events that are happening coming up, and it's a good way to support. But there's lots of ways you can support FCA, and we'll help you do that, because they're out there working with kids on a daily basis and doing a lot of really great work with our kids, coaches, and referees here in West Tennessee. So thanks for being you, Travis. You're an awesome guy.
Thank you,
Appreciate it. I knew they would do something for referees.
Yeah. Good on them for that. I always feel bad for refs because most of the time they do make the right call, but people still yell at them.
Yeah. And you
got to have some thick skin to be a referee.
And another thing, and I didn't know that he had been to Australia. I didn't realize that.
No, that's cool.
I know a lot of people have been to Hawaii, and I know a lot of people say they want to go to Australia. I want to go to Australia. A lot of people want to go to Australia, but you just tend to run into very few people who have ever done the Australia thing.
Everything in Australia is trying to kill you.
It is.
Everything.
It is.
People are not supposed to live in Australia.
Yeah. Wasn't it initially Great Britain or
they would send
prisoners there?
Yeah.
The joke was on them, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll just stay here.
It just made the people in Australia tougher because the ones that were able to survive the wildlife and the...
It makes me want to go watch some Crocodile Dundee now.
Yeah.
Just haven't seen that in forever. Yeah, so that was good. Fellowship Careers Athletes doing great work. They do.
Yeah.
They're out there in the community doing great work at schools and coaches and referees and families. And so if you feel like you would like to support them, definitely let us know because it's well worth supporting a great organization. It's been around for a long, long time too, in Tennessee and in our country. And so I think it's fca.org if you want to look at the full true FCA website, and then Southwest Tennessee FCA here in Jackson. So yeah, definitely help out FCA here in Jackson and come serve. I mean, if you're interested in knowing what Character Coach does, let me know and I'll drag you along on one of the ones I do. And actually, Dale Morton was one of the first ones when we first came that had me come and talk to his team at Southside. I've been a part of FCA in Texas and everywhere, but he was the one here at Northside.
JacksonFCA.org.
Yeah, JacksonFCA.org is what it is. So, and they're on Facebook and stuff too.
Yeah.
The Insta. Which is Facebook too.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so great conversation with Travis, and we have some others that are coming on the way, and this is what we were talking about when we were talking about we wanted to reach out into the community a little bit more and make you aware of a few things. This is one of those kinds of things. So
yeah, that's cool.
I feel like we're starting to get away from the first of the year and saying we don't really have anything to talk about.
We don't really have anything to talk about
because we got a lot coming up. It feels like right now. I feel like my calendar is filling up pretty quickly.
We got a few things in the near future. We've got a couple of informational meetings coming up about mission trips. So on the 22nd of January, there is going to be an informational meeting on the trip to the Holy Land that Gary's going to be leading. And this is the one I'd like to go on because they're going to get to go to Egypt and go see the pyramids. And I'd really like to be able to go. I don't know that I'm going to, so I need to live vicariously through some of y'all.
Yeah. So. And if you don't make the meeting, try to get in touch with Gary if you're interested in going and you just can't make the meeting. Make sure you let him know because I think this is the first time they've done the Egypt side of it. Man, that's going to be cool. Yeah. I want to go.
And then the following week, there is going to be an informational meeting on a trip to Gamasara.
Yep.
So if you're interested in going to Tanzania and going to Africa, that information meeting will be on January 29th at 2 o'clock p.m., also in room 301. Both of those are really good opportunities. If you want to learn more, I definitely recommend checking those out.
Yep. I have a big announcement, too.
You have a big announcement?
It's the Battle of the Berg.
Uh-oh.
February 5th at 5 p.m. here in the gym at Northside. The Purple Penguin teams, we have 2 Purple Penguin teams this year, 1 and 2. They play each other. They were on the schedule to play each other this year, so we asked if we could do it here and on a Sunday, and the city said, sure, do it. Have fun. Just let us know who wins. And so we're going to have fun. We're going to have national anthem. We're going to have
we need to blow it up big.
Stand. Yeah. We've got halftime show being worked on. We've got a mascot coming. We've got it all. And it's going to be Purple Penguin 1 versus Purple Penguin 2.
Oh.
The Battle of the Berg. Yeah. It's kind of like King of the Mountain. Which will be the King Penguin of the iceberg.
Northside versus Northside.
That's great. Yeah. Plus, our floor kind of being white. It's still, to me, it makes me laugh.
That's fantastic.
The Battle of the Berg. When we were talking about naming the gym something with stuff in the future, is like the Berg did. It did cross my, because we put like a big purple penguin in there. But so come on out. We're doing it for fun. The boys play here almost every Thursday through February, so you can see them almost any Thursday you want to. But the girls aren't scheduled to play here this year, and since they're scheduled to play each other, we thought it's tense enough as it is playing each other, but let's go ahead and try to have some fun with it. So we're going to blow it up. So be looking for stuff for Battle of the Berg on February 5th at 5 p.m. here in the gym at Northside.
That's awesome. The rest of the basketball games, that schedule's on the website, right?
That schedule is on the website, and student ministries at the very bottom of the page is our Google Calendar that we put everything into that's Northside students related. and it's on there, and you can look at each week and see which games and where they're at. So yeah, definitely follow along. Cool. And we have 7 teams, y'all. So there's 2 senior high team boys, 3 junior high boys, and 2 high school girls. So we got a lot of basketball players in this place.
That's awesome.
And so definitely check that out. So yep, Battle of the Berg on the 5th.
Let's see. Also coming up on February the 10th, we have a parents' night out. That is going to be that Friday night, February 10th, from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. This is for all kids 8 weeks old to 10 years old. Cost is $5 per child, but $10 max per family. So if you've got a whole bunch of kids, it's still only going to cost you $10, and there will be pizza served. So if you need to drop your kids off to go have a nice Valentine's date with your significant other, or just need to take a break or whatever, take a nap, you can sign up for that on the app and on the website. Just go to northsidejackson.com/events.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I need to have like a couples pickleball night.
There you go.
Kind of like around Valentine's Day. You can schedule the gym for a pickleball, but you come with your loved one and play. And then,
I don't know.
If there would be a way to have a candlelight dinner, then you play pickleball.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of wild.
That'd be fantastic.
Some couples, I know of a couple that's out here that plays and they can't play together.
Yeah.
So they play separately because they've tried to play together. It just ruins things for them. That's really funny. So, yeah. And, down the road, we have Easter egg hunts coming. Mm-hmm. Ash Wednesday's coming.
Ash Wednesday will be on February 22nd this year, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff coming quickly this spring. And February is going to be 28 days of prayer.
Yes.
And so that's coming up as well. And this past Sunday, they really started pushing that out there about a lot of stuff. And Outreach Team is going to be sharing with us. February is a month we're going to be collecting things for Scarlet Rope and their brand new house they're moving into here at the end of the month. So
yeah, we'll have some more information on that coming up.
So there's a lot happening.
A lot.
It's getting crazy.
It's never dull around here.
Never dull. Not long. Not long at all. So,
well, thanks for podcasting with me. And thanks to all of you out there in the world for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, you can follow us on Instagram at Northside Now Podcast. Go to our website, northsidejackson.com, or email us at podcast@northsidejackson.com. We hope to hear from you soon. Once again, this is Patrick.
That's as glad.
And that's what's happening at Northside Now.